Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity to practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset podcast. My name is Carson Brooks, and in this episode, I talk about certification. Certification. And the reason why this topic came up is because having getting the work, getting the opportunity to get this work that I've been doing for like the first 10 months or such, or almost a year. One of the great opportunity is the fact that I was getting income to make a few changes in my life. And that's the thing where when you left university, and one of the things where you realize if you're a person that goes to university and such, and you realize what the advantage of people are one of the things that you realize when you left university and you're in the real world. You hear things like, oh, start a business, or the university degree is useless and stuff like that. It's because most of the stuff in the real world is basically locked behind a paywall. It's just locked. So like getting a certification, a valid certificate, it's like most of the time to actually get something you basically have to actually do something else. And it's like and you more likely have to pay for it. And it's like because of that, it's it's somewhat when you hear it, because I hear it and I usually younger, when you're younger, impressionable, you'll be like, okay, you believe it, I will believe it. But then what happens now? Something like a pandemic that I've experienced comes, and then you see the irrationality of what happens, and then you realize that okay, yes, there is some relevancy of a degree. There's certain relevancy of a degree because certain things that you typically should know the average for are not only the typical. No, you don't understand the relevancy of a degree, but you understand the relevancy of the knowledge that you learn at that level. But what happens is that it's hard to actually translate into. It may be hard to actually translate into the business world at that's in the area that you want. So, like for example, me in science, it will be hard for me to actually get a science. So, me getting the degree, it's an accredited degree, but basically the work that each of the science rules, you'll be like, okay, you need a certification in this thing, or another certification in that to actually get the work. And that is important. But then it's another paywall. You spent millions of dollars to actually get this degree. Then you're telling me again that okay, I need to spend some more money to actually get the certification. That that doesn't make sense. It's just like if you list all the online programs, be like, okay, they're introducing all these cool things, but oh, you have to pay for this course. So that's basically what the job world is. Basically, so I was basically trying to find my way around it, and boom, I got my start. It was not the job I wanted, but what the importance of that job was to basically give me a taste of the working world to see what it's like. And when I experienced what the working world is like now, and I get income, now I could see okay, I could actually I did something where I invest in a certification course related to my field. Where I could say, okay, I could do this course now and maybe actually apply for work in my field to actually get work there. And why I did that now is because if you want to reach that top level, so you have to actually learn. And to actually, if you want to make the change, you have to understand why that thing was there in the first place. And that's the thing where we're like breaking cycles, are breaking generation curses, all those stuff, are breaking conventional thought. You have to actually just take the time to understand why is that certification important. So and why you have to do it is because going through the work, I understand why the job training was important, and I would have implemented this the same way. So just like how I know that the job training was important, I would now know that okay, the certification is important to actually get. But when you think about it, like everything to make it progress, you have to be able to actually make it easier and better. And sometimes when you're making it easier and better, like for example, making YouTube free and you're getting all this free knowledge and stuff, uh it's good in a certain way, but it's not the best. Like, and I would be a person that say, okay, if you list if you list a few YouTube video have the same knowledge of a biochemist degree, even though in university I did watch a few YouTube video to actually get those knowledge. But what happened was that if what the relevance of the university was, the university gave me the topics. It made me understand that okay, these are the important things that you need to learn to actually become a biochemist. If I never knew that, I'll be out here just googling YouTube and stuff, and just basically YouTubing random information, and most of those random information may not be relevant. So that's why you really have to think about it. So I understand the need. So now, what happened now is that I'm more focused on understanding why I need why I need the money, and then what the dream life I want now. So I can actually make smart purchases like this certification course to say, okay, this course would actually may not um directly immediately just be like, okay, I get get me into a science role, but it gets me into the active mind of actually doing certification things. Just like how I when I did the 95 just now, it got me back into the role of learning and training for a job. So I'm doing the certification course now. That's basically getting back into the mode of learning again, getting back into the learning mode to learn a skill in my field, just to get back into that groove. So that learn that skill in my field, along with the experience of knowing what the working world is like, should be able to make me maximize that role when I go into it. So basically, how I'm. So basically, what this episode just be like. Um, as I mentioned in a previous episode, career building is a lifelong process. Uh, Certain things like these are important, but one thing that I recommend is that uh, don't do random certification courses. One thing I would recommend is basically see if you can actually get a work. If you have to understand your needs before, if you listen to the early podcast episode, one of the main things I mentioned is 90 days where you change your life, where you just basically take a day to figure out what your life, what you want from your life. If sometimes you don't want to actually be out here just doing random courses to get a job, and you get a job in a science role, but you don't like the job. And then not only that, you do not understand anything about money. So you're basically just getting the job, working the money, doing getting all these benefits that that they are giving you. And you don't understand what's the importance of the benefits, like what's the importance of having a health card, what's the importance of having sick days, vacation, how to properly implement those stuff. Properly use those stuff. It's like, when you're going there, you get the job quick. Just like that would be another form of get rich quick. You basically reach into the thing but don't really understand it. So you're basically in the middle trying to figure it out. In the work trying to figure out life. So you're at your dream job, but you're having it's taking a while to build your dream life because the work is actually taking a lot of your time to actually build your dream life. So that's basically how I think about it now. I'm able to I'm grateful of the fact that I actually got that work now. So I could invest into a certification course now to just basically go into a science role to actually do competent work now. I know if I actually get into a science role now, then I've been more knowledgeable to say, okay, this is the relevance of what of doing all those things, of doing all those stuff. So that's the next level of experiences. So the first experience is just you getting a work, understanding how the working world be, and then now the next thing now is to say, okay, w- getting the getting the necessary things to get the work that you actually want now. That's the next level of the career building employee lifestyle, in my opinion. So that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and look forward for the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.